We're now on Dcad Lesson 10B, and we're continuing with our elevation drawings. We already have established our right elevation and our front elevation, and we're going to actually mirror both of those to create our left elevation and our rear elevation. So the easiest way to do that is simply to draw straight lines using into orthogonal mode. So I'm hitting H to go to orthogonal mode. Actually, it's already on. So I'm just going to draw an arbitrary straight line and for the front elevation. So I'm going to hit B for vector and just K down to the floor plan. It snaps to the floor plan line, and since I'm in orthogonal mode, it'll run straight all the way up, so I get near the rear elevation floor line, and I'm going to hit K, and it snaps to it, and I'm just hitting enter to activate the command. So I have a straight line now that associates my front elevation with my rear elevation. So I'm just going to select this front elevation. Actually, I'm going to zoom out just a little bit further and select this front elevation, and I'm going to set the handle on this straight orthogonal line. And so I'm switching to set selection handles and clicking on that, and I'm just going to right click, and it snaps to the nearest point, which is at the base of this line, and I'm going to hit H. I don't need to be in orthogonal mode right now, and I'm going to hit the scroll button to activate that command. So you can see that my handle is located at the base of this line. Now I'm going to use the mirror command, and that's just basically the slash, and once that's the slash button's hit, you can see the mirror command over here to the left. And right now it's indicating that the mirror will be on the x-axis, but we want it on the y-axis because this is basically a vertical mirror. So I'm going to click the y-axis radial and go up to near the top of this line and just right-click. So now we have our rear elevation. I'm going to activate the info box because what I want to do is show that our front elevation is of course in layer 45, and I'm going to hit escape to unselect that, and I'm going to select this rear elevation. You'll see that that's also in layer 45. It just mirrors whatever drawing components you have and keeps those mirrors, those components in their original layers. So I'm going to now go to an info box and change that rear elevation down to into layer 49, and I can see that layer it's not visible, but I'm just going to click on layer 49, which is the rear layers RR elevation, and click on that, and it disappears because layer 49 isn't visible. I'm going to go to layers so I can see the invisible layers, and I'm going to go ahead and just select all of these elevation layers and right click and unlock highlighted layers. So I selected both the elevation layers and their text layers and click OK. So now you can see that the rear elevation, which is in layer 49, is now visible. I'm going to zoom up on it so you can take a good look at it. All the same components are still there that were in the front elevation. So Control W takes me back to fill the drawing in the window. I'm going to zoom, hold down Control, and use my scroll button to zoom out just a little bit further. Now I can go ahead and get rid of this this line that I used as a reference point. So I just select it and hit delete, and it's gone. Now I'm going to move my info box out of the way because I'm going to do the same thing to create the left elevation, using the right elevation to create the left elevation. So I'm going to hit V for vector, and I'm going to hit K just to select an arbitrary area on this floor elevation line, and I want to go into orthogonal mode, so I'm going to hit H, and I'm in orthogonal mode. I'm coming down by the left, over to the left floor line for the left elevation, and I'm getting kind of near it, just hitting K. It snaps to it, and I'm hitting enter, and that activates the line. So now I'm selecting this right elevation, just like I did with the front elevation. And I'm going to go to Set Selection Handles, click on that, and I want that selection handle to be at the base of this line, so I'm just right-clicking near that line. I can go out of orthogonal mode now. I don't need to be in that any longer. And I'm hitting the scroll button to activate the command to set that handle, selection handle, at the base of this line. And now I'm going to hit Mirror. And I need to go up and do mirror command and hit the X-axis radial button, because now I want to mirror this drawing component along the X-axis. So I'm bringing it over here, and I'm just going to right-click near this line, and it snaps to it. And so now we have our left elevation. And once again, it's going to be in the wrong layer. I'm going to hit Escape to unselect the right elevation and just select the left elevation to show you. And actually it's showing it in multiple layers. It's showing it in multiple layers because apparently the right elevation was in multiple layers also. So anyway, the left elevation needs to be in layer 47, which is the left elevation layer. So I'm in the info box, I'm clicking on the layers and going up to layer 47 and putting all that in layer 47 just by clicking on it. And so now it says layer 47. I apparently need to fix the right layer, and so I'm going to select it. And it's showing it in multiple layers like I suspected. And the right elevation should be in layer 51, so I'm just going to click on that. And now the entire right layer is in layer 51 like it's supposed to be. Now I'm going to click on this horizontal line and just delete it because we no longer need it. So now we have our 4 elevations drawn, and they're in their correct layers. They're not showing windows or doors or any of that sort of stuff, or exterior openings, but I'm going to activate those right now because we need to do a little bit of repair in a couple locations. One the front elevation, this floor line actually at the garage door, front garage overhead garage door, drops down 4 inches because of our slab sloping. So I'm going to hit L for layers, and I'm going to just click on active layers only, just to get rid of hide a bunch of layers. And oops, let me go up to active layers. And so we now only have our active layers showing, and I'm going to go to exterior openings and activate that. And unlock it. Click OK. So our garage door looks great. The only problem with it is that it's 4 inches too high. And I know that because if we look at our section drawing, which is in layer 75, I'll activate that one also, we can see that our slab has dropped down 4 inches here. So this distance right here, I'm going to use the dimension command, which is the shift and @ sign. And just to show that is 4 inches, I'm just hitting Escape a couple times to deactivate that command. So what I need to do is to Control W, zoom out, zoom on this front elevation, take this garage door, just select it, and use this handle, and just hit comma to gravity move to the handle, and I'm going to hit M for move, hit the point relative, which is the apostrophe. And we don't want to move on the X-axis, but I'm going to hit Tab, and we want to go -4 inches to drop things down 4 inches there. And you can see that it's just dropped that garage door down 4 inches. So now we have that bottom of siding line going through the middle of the garage door, and we're just going to trim it. So I'm going over here to the trim toolboxes and holding down my left button and coming down over here to the third one over, which is basically trims between 2 lines. So I'm going to click, and I'm going to move this out of the way so we can see what the actual command instructions are. First click is to the line to be trimmed, and clicks 2 and 3 are to the intersecting lines that you want to trim between. So I'm going to click on the line we want to trim. Now the problem that we have, I'm going to hit Escape because I can see that we have the elevation line there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit Layers real quick, and I'm going to deactivate or hide that. and click OK. So I got rid of those elevation lines because we don't want to trim it. We just want to trim this bottom of siding line. So I'm clicking on that line, then I'm clicking on this line and this line, and it failed. And it failed because if we select this garage door, we can see that it's a symbol. So it's not recognizing these edge lines as lines. It's just seeing this whole garage door as a symbol. So what we need to do before we can actually trim this siding line between the trim line for the garage door is we need to explode it. And so I'm going over here to selection explode, and I'm exploding it. Now you can see all of the points come to light. Now we can try it again. And we can hit escape. It doesn't need to be selected. So I'm going to go over here and to the trim tools, and where it says trim between two lines, click on it. Click on our siding line. Click on this trim line and this trim line, and there, it's done it. So I can hold control down and roll my scroll button. You can see now that the garage door is set down as it's supposed to be, that 4 inches for the sloping slab. Control W, and I'm going to hide the elevation layer because it's showing the truss over here on the right elevation. So I'm going to layers, and I'm going to hide layer 75, just clicking on the light bulb, click OK, and move the info box out of the way. And you can see now that we have our 4 elevations. We have the front elevation with the garage door, left elevation with the man door. The rear has no exterior openings, and we have the right elevation with a 1 window. So that concludes our elevations at this point, and that is Dcad Lesson 10B.